we're fading. Hello, everyone. Welcome. Hello, the internet. Welcome to our Game of Thrones tabletop role-playing game. Not ours, Game of Green Ronins. And we're having an amazing time playing this really awful campaign. Everyone's nervous, including me, and we're going to have an amazing fun time. Let's have a chat, see who we've got with us this week. We've got Don. Don, you're returning from the successful tourney as champion this evening. A couple of weeks on a boat. You're coming back to Fox Hollow. How are you doing?
Oh, I'm great. I've been looking forward to getting back into the game. Mostly healthier, not poisoned. we determined no longer poisoned, so that's important to me personally. I'm playing Sir Oliver Ironwood. He's been with House Greenmont for a long time, sort of in a not true exile, but kind of exile from House Ironwood of Dorne. And he doesn't have any idea what's going on in Fox Hollow. I do, because I have watched the other episodes and all of the in-between episodes. I know that there's a plague. I know that there's some dudes named the Vultures that seem like they're not good guys. But I'm looking forward to finding out in character, and I'm glad to be here with my friends.
Awesome. Cool. I'm looking forward to it. Really am. And then Charlie's with us. Hello, Charlie.
Hello.
Playing Marzia.
Yes, lady. Well, I've got my mug ready. Lady of the Manor.
Good job.
Ready. I found my ring. Got a new headband for today because Marzia's speech went really well last session.
It's basically a crown, but no one's talking about it.
It's not quite a crown.
Sure.
We had a really cool session on Tuesday. I think it was Tuesday, where we did the House Fortunes roll, and we uncovered the house for the next 2 or so weeks, the rest of this month at least, is cursed, which affected our population and our law. And Marzia's done a little bit of moving around, moving some of our people into the ranks, trying to shore up our defenses, because yes, the Vulture King is rumored to be stirring up things in a place called Vulture's Roost. Marzia is fairly convinced that the Dornish raiders were actually sent by one of our neighbours coming for our house, because they know that Lord Lucas isn't there and Sir Oliver isn't there, and the house is, kind of just sitting waiting to be taken. But I'm sure we'll find out what's going on. I did get to hang someone last week. That was really cool.
That was really cool.
Yes.
Yeah. First kill.
Technically Alfred had the first kills in the game, but first kill for Marzia. Put that on the board. We've been discussing starting up a Deadpool, which is both concerning and delightful. And Susie and I have been watching Game of Thrones from the start, so lots of different new crazy ideas have been occurring in my brain as to what could happen. And I have a very suspicious mind right now and trust no one. But we're all friends, and I'm very excited to be here.
We are truly friends. Don't know if you will be after this session with me. But anyway, off to Tom. Tom, how you doing? It's been a good week.
Yeah, it's all right. I'm tired. I've been out in the sun all day planting flowers, so I'm quite tired.
It's been really sunny here in the Gross Britannia.
Yeah, it's all right if you're not out in it, for 8 hours. But if you're out in it for 8 hours,
did you keep the sun cream on? Because that is important.
I did. Sun cream, hat, and my lovely little hat and everything.
Nice.
So yeah, wasn't too bad. So hopefully I won't burn. I actually have very weird skin. I'm so white that the sun hits my skin, deflects off, and blinds innocent passerby. So
just reflects all of the UV.
It just reflects out. So anyone driving, they see me, get blinded, and crash.
I think Sam's disappointed he's not going to get to use his sunburn table.
So.
Damn it. I know. That's an important table in the back of this rulebook.
But yeah, I'm good. I'm excited to see what's up with Alfred and the whole situation. And I just like playing Alfred. He's fun.
Cool.
Yeah, he's innocent and he's a bit naive. And I like the idea of him learning as he goes, So yeah, it's going to be fun.
Amazing. And Susanna Grace, you're with us for one more week until you're off to Canada.
I am in 48 hours. I'm going to be on a plane.
Wow.
I'm so excited.
Nice.
And much like Charlie, I've brought my own canonical in-universe cup.
It took me a second. I thought it had something on it, like they like messed it up, but no, I get it now.
Just Starbucks cup. But yes, I am very, very excited to see what is in store for wee baby Miria in Summerhall as shit is going down.
Very, very down.
Excited and scared. I have been screaming at Charlie about it for like the past week. So yeah, I'm hype.
Your folks have no idea. This game has taken over our lives in some weird way. We talk about it when we're not playing it. We play it when we're not talking about it. I occasionally do work at work. That's true. If my boss is watching, I do work. I do, honestly. Just lunchtimes.
He does. It gets in the way of our planning. Please stop making him work.
I mean, pretty much, yeah.
Shout out to Modifius.
Yeah. Yeah, so we're doing some awesome things at the moment. I give you the full scoop. Today, I tested a little bit of my alpha for the Fallout 2D20 game in the park. It was cool. Yeah, and it's working a bit, so it's going okay. It's going really well. But this occupied my mind more than anything. Maybe a couple more things, just because I'm an internet celebrity now that has this channel that does stuff and monies. So if you fancy giving me your monies, please give me your monies, because it's really nice. It helps us out. I'm going to profit share with all these lovely people because they're giving as much as I am. So if you fancy giving us a little tip, please give us your bits. I think after a couple of weeks, we're going to figure out a little bit of like in-game shenanigans where you can donate for stuff too. Some bonus dice or some keep dice, I think. Maybe some like top dollar for a Destiny point or something. But then again, if you've got a Prime subscription that's burning a hole in your pocket that you're not using, just please throw it at us. Any one of these lovely people who have a channel. Because it all goes to a good cause. Us and paying rent, basically. That's my plug. Let's get into it. I always feel like there should be some music or something. It's Game of Thrones, but like I don't have any non-copyright.
We could all try and sing the intro, but none of us would be in time with one another, and it would be just discord.
That'd be perfect. There would be no copyright strikes then.
I think people would pay us hush money.
That's one more reason to do it.
Okay, so we start singing, and chat, you just pay to shut up.
Do do.
No, stop.
Do 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 do.
All right, Charlie. All right. Thanks. All right. Okay, we're done.
Yeah.
We're done. All right. No, okay.
There's-
We're just sorry. We're very excited. Okay, we'll get into it. Game faces, people. Okay. First up is Alfred. Yeah.
I was not prepared.
No,
Sorry.
we're not ready. The healing room set aside by Marzia is cool this afternoon. North-facing with small windows that provide a narrow field of view down the sloping mountainside of the Red Mountains. There's an uneasy feeling in the room as Braith's boy Wallace shifts on his cot bed, stirring with what remains of his fever under loose sheets. He's been much better lately and is shaking off the remaining sickness, just as you are. The click of the latch on the door marks Braith's entrance as she brings a tray of fresh water from the Godswood and hard oat biscuits. On her tray sits a rolled-up, slim piece of parchment of a raven's message, and the saying "dark wings, dark words" repeats in your mind, reminded of it by Braith's dark brown hair. She presents it to you and says, "Good sir, this came for you. Lady Lana saw your name and wanted me to give it to you straight away."
Thank you. He'll take it and have a look. Is there any symbol on it, like a wax seal of a particular symbol?
There is the wax seal of House, Old Oak. House.
Old Oak.
Yeah, Oakheart.
Okay. I'll open it.
Okay. Don, would you do me the honors of reading this?
Absolutely. Let me pull this up here.
Well,
Give me a second.
Either in Roll20 or in the chat there, or wherever you have it.
Oh, is it in Roll20 right now?
Yeah, I just popped it in there.
Okay, cool. Let me check this. I am looking. I don't see it.
Should just be in chat.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah,
I see it.
works. Then.
All right.
Take it away for us, man.
So, Sir Alfred, by now you have heard the grave news that my dear friend and our noble lord, Lord Lucas of House Greenmont, has died on the road to Lady Mara's wedding at Old Oak. Now more than ever before, the children of House Greenmont will need you and I. Already the vultures are beginning to circle. I have watched you grow into your armor, and though I often jest, I know your heart is true and your arm is strong. Once, Sir Alfred, I was honor bound to hold from you a secret. Now I am honor bound to share that same secret. You are not as wild as you believe. I see in your future a house to call your own. If you desire as much, you will have my support. In the meantime, I implore you, on your honor, to consider my words and await my return to Fox Hollow. Your father would have wanted it so. Forget me not, Sir Oliver of House Ironwood.
Alfred will look at the letter and look around very quickly to see if anyone else had noticed and roll it back up really quick. And he'll take a deep breath. He kind of is shocked at the moment, and he gets up and heads to Braith, is it?
Yeah, she is currently attending her son, giving him a little bit of water as he sits up in bed.
Braith, sorry to disturb you.
Yeah?
You, when did this arrive?
I'm guessing not an hour's past. Lady Alana gave it to me, said to give it to you immediately.
Right. Thank you. I'm just going to take a walk for a bit. I'll be back.
And she's about to say something as you leave the door and head out. Where are you heading?
He is going to just head outside and walk into the mountains for a bit.
Wow.
It's one thing that he's done plenty of times when he wants to just be alone and process or just get back to his childhood. So at the moment, he's just going to go around there. Yeah. Along the way, he's probably going to ask if there's been any word of Sir Oliver entering the lands, arriving soon, or anything like that.
You've been a little bit cooped up in the kind of medical chambers, so you haven't seen the new personal guard as much as they're kind of incomplete as a unit. And as you walk through the corridors, you notice a lot more, at the moment, slightly shoddier plate armored, either just with greaves, bracers, and a breastplate, or half plate with a chain underneath. But guards, where the couriers as the scouts, or the devoted as the guerrilla fighters, maybe would have assumed that position in the house, and it's whether it's disconcerting for you or safe, I'll leave up to you. But you definitely notice this new presence, this new feeling around the hall of protection, but also slight kind of closing in.
Yeah.
You ask one of the nearby guards if there's been any word from Sir Oliver, and they say, "I don't know, sir, but we're expecting him back soon."
Any idea how long?
Old Oak is a couple of weeks away by on horseback, so possibly very soon, possibly the next few days.
Okay. Thank you. If you see Lady Marcia, please tell her that I've just gone into the mountains and I will be back shortly.
Very well, sir.
Thank you. And he'll head out Fox Hollow and head up into the mountains.
Sure. Oliver, it's been several days since your voyage down the western coast, stopping briefly at Old Town on a Braavosi ship bound for the several stops along the Westerosi coast before heading back to Braavos. Not that you saw Old Town or any of the other settlements you stopped at, having paid the fee for a cabin. You've been resting aboard for the stitches in your neck to heal a little longer, so they don't itch or tug at your collar. At the mouth of the Torrentine, you took your gold and newly inherited green enamelled armour and put your new destroyer to work, sharing the load pulling a small merchant's barge that takes you north. As you pass the Blackmont's keep on the bank of the Torrentine, all is quiet at the fishing piers, and even the toll dock. But the merchant doesn't want to pass, having had disputes with the fishermen here. The slow barge trip up the river gives you ample time to ponder over the letters received as you awoke back in Old Oak. And one letter in particular weighs on your mind. And this is in chat too. I'll play the part of Simon tonight. My most beloved Sir Oliver, suffice it to say, this correspondence is sent with a heavy heart. Our father was most dear to all, but to you I felt a kinship that went beyond loyalty. Though you were never of our house, you certainly were of our home. And so I write to you, asking that you might assist me in returning to the path which I had forgotten. The details are scarce, but I shall arrive at Old Oak soon enough. From there, I shall attempt to speak with Mara, and perhaps ride to Fox Hollow. If I do, I expect to embrace you as dearly as any friend, and I anticipate chastisement for my terrible mistake I have made. But we shall talk then, good sir. Stay true, and remember our words. By faith and duty, Simon. Now, having left Old Oak, you left after Mara had gone to court at Highgarden. The milk of the poppy keeping you under for a while, the maester wanting you to stay in bed as long as possible to heal up the wound, and thankfully helped you with that second wound that you had. But obviously your force of will eventually left that bed, left his care, and onto a ship bound for Fox Hollow as soon as you could. The barge does take you past the Blackmonts. And as I was saying, that your new destroyer takes kind of half of the work, as your other horse walks alongside. And not only that, the merchant also has one as well. It's a bit more lame than yours, more of a working horse than a war horse. And you head on up to Fox Hollow. Just before we arrive, I want to make that endurance test so that you can shake off the remaining wound. You spent some time in the cabin, Unfortunately, getting to the ship, being on the ship, and then having to transfer onto the small barge and making your way up there with the travel arrangements, this is still traveling. And so the endurance test is going to be difficulty 15.
Oh, no.
Yeah. This is travel.
All right. Well, here we go. Is there anything I can do to improve this?
So the resilience specialty dice will give you the bonus. The only other thing would be spending destiny. You can basically, I think burning it lets you just match the difficulty. Spending it will, I think, give you some bonus dice. Let's double check.
And if I spend destiny, so this is a new mechanic for me. I burned a destiny point recovering from my previous injury.
Yeah.
If I spend a destiny point, when do I get it back?
Kind of a milestone, or for us, we've got like short and long-term goals. If you reach a short-term goal, then you'll get it back. Okay. That's how I'm kind of playing it. And so, like I've said, because I've seen a lot of short-term goals from you guys about kind of like, oh, I want to do this. And actually, I think they're quite kind of mid-term. Like a short-term goal could be just convincing this one person of this one thing, or like finding out this one thing, or like it's the bits that get you to your long-term goal. So if you imagine what the smaller steps are to you getting to take over House Ironwood, or to get retribution for your brothers poisoning you, or whatever, like it's all those little things you can proactively do that will get you back those destiny points, and eventually some XP as well.
All right. So if I spend a destiny point, do I get an extra die? Is that how it works?
Okay, so you gain 1 bonus dice for spending. You can convert one of your bonus dice into a test die, which is a bit more powerful. You can remove a -1 dice, because remember, because you've got the wound, the endurance test will be at -1 keep dice.
Geez, so for me to even have a chance mechanically to pass a 15 difficulty, I have to either fail immediately or have a 15% chance if I spend a destiny point. Those are the 2 choices I have.
Those calculations, man. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
This, you need healers around you. This is what they're great for. And rest.
And rest. You know what? I have 2 destiny points still. I'm going to spend 1 temporarily.
Yep.
To at least give myself a shot.
Sure.
Because he is determined. He's a man on a mission. No. That is a failure.
Sorry, buddy. That neck wound is still very painful. It's been painful to speak. The merchant has been really chatty since you got dropped off at the large estuary mouth of the Torrentine, and it's just been kind of grating on you these last few days.
Sir Oliver, though he wouldn't say so or act on it, has definitely considered all of the different ways he might throw the merchant overboard. He's imagined different ways of murdering or silencing the merchant, most of them violent. But he is an honorable man, and he, despite his wound and despite being irritated, goes along as gracefully as he's able to.
Sure. Roll will dedication for me. Why not? -1 dice, because you're wounded.
Dedication?
So dedication's a specialty, but will is your skill you want to roll.
Yeah. How about a 5?
Oof. I mean, by the end, you are ready to throw him overboard. He actually drops you off a little bit shy of your kind of final little pier destination. Because, I imagine maybe you just stop talking to him after a while, and he just gets a bit aggravated and dumps you off a bit early. That, combined with the fact that you then have to ride to Fox Hollow, plays into this not not getting the rest you need to heal the wound. But after a couple of days' ride, at least, you arrive through the hamlet that Fox Hollow is nearby. There are a lot fewer people around now, so it seems. Some people in heavy armor, either chain, plate, greaves, braces. No one with a real full set yet, but they're certainly armoring up. Many of them returning home or leaving their homes and heading down to Fox Hollow. As you arrive towards this, what I imagine to be a large sloping dirt road that leads back down into the valley as the kind of main entry point into Fox Hollow Hall. As you meet that road from the hamlet to turn right up to Fox Hollow, you see a much stronger military presence than there was before. The guards here are plated, carrying spears, swords, shields, either covered in the colours of House Greenmont or painted on. In the last couple of weeks, things are militarized. And approaching the large front doors that lead into the hall, two guards stand to attention and turn to face each other and the door and open the doors up for you.
Sir Oliver has taken time before he arrives to redon his own armor, even though it's very uncomfortable, to ride his Dornish Sandsteed so that he looks as though he's a returning champion. He doesn't have a lot of people with him. Red Rob, his squires, Rob with him.
Rob's taken the Destroyer and is proving to be a little challenging as he's very high off the ground, hasn't really trained for any animal handling, and it is been getting over the last day has been getting used to this Destroyer. It maybe you've got it on like a tether, so the two of you, so you can help him out. But certainly by the time you get to the actual doorway where this is going on, the Destroyer is tugging the other direction, and he's trying his best to kind of stop it and to go to, whoa, boy, come on. And it is actually kind of aggravating it even a little bit more.
And Oliver is, though he doesn't want to speak, he's trying to, with as few words as he can, instruct Rob on how to properly ride his horse and keep up. It should not be that difficult. And he might be a little harsh in the way he does so, harsher than he normally would.
Yeah. He's trying his best. Do you want to roll an animal handling charm for me? -1 dice. This will just be a 6. I mean, it's a war horse. So with your training, it should be just a 6 is the difficulty to get.
Okay. Is this a ride roll?
This is animal handling charm.
Okay. 12.
Nice. So like 2 degrees. So you calm it down straight away with a few tugs of the rope. The kind of cavalry soldiers instructions with the bit. So you tug it a bit and it calms down slowly. And Red Rob's kind of stood almost like hands off, just kind of like, thank you, sir.
It is fine, boy. Come. We must go home.
He gets off, trips up over his own feet as he lands from this very high horse and barrels over. Does one of those kind of makes it all right in the end, but puts a hand down, barrels over a little bit, stands back up, brushes himself down a bit, and begins unpicking the saddlebags.
Sir Oliver will reach into the pouch that's in his own saddlebag and take out a silver stag. And he'll hold it up for Red Rob. Boy, you have done enough. I can go on my own. please take this and go find yourself a brothel. Immediately.
Brothel round here? You've been away too long.
If you have to go further. Wait a second. How far is it from the nearest brothel? Not that.
I don't know, really. It's probably a couple of days. The larger settlements around here aren't gonna have too many of those. I mean, maybe he goes back in the direction of the hamlet.
You can send him to find a farmer's daughter. I'm sure it's the same thing up around here.
I mean, yeah, there is probably a working girl in the hamlet.
Find yourself a tavern. Go there. Buy a good lady some drinks. And if she likes you, then see what happens.
He
Just
laughs, he turns, he flicks the coin up. Doesn't catch it, but picks it back up from the mud and puts it in his pocket. He strides off with the saddlebags over his back.
Oliver will sigh deeply and then take the horses himself the rest of the way into Fox Hollow.
Sure. So heading your way up to the hall, you, as I said, reach the main doors. Soldiers standing to attention to you, opening the doors and letting you into the antechamber of the main part of the hall. Just beyond this is the Great Hall. And even in the antechamber here, there are guards as well. Is there any one in particular, or anywhere you would like to look first, or were you going to return to your own quarters and kind of see into your own stuff?
Is it obvious that there's somebody here in charge based on the decorum?
No, you look at like two guards here, pretty fresh out of guard school, and stood on either side of the main hall door.
Sir, I seek Lady Marcia and Sir Alfred. Do you know where they are?
So I'll just go get them for you. And he walks off. He walks into the main hall. Marcia, where are you at the moment?
I imagine Marcia is probably in the Great Hall, kind of arranging things, because there's been a lot of work going on in the house, and it's just easy to be in like one central location, have everyone come to her rather than go around and deal with people.
Yeah, you kind of nested in the dais, kind of made it your place.
Yeah, she tries not to climb up and down too often. There's some stairs, they're kind of tricky. So she camps out there most of the days and occasionally manages to sneak down to the healing wing.
Yeah, cool. All right. The soldier, the personal guard, turns back fairly promptly through the door and says to you, she's just inside, sir. And then the grand doors open fully for you. Marcia, the doors have opened towards the back of the hall, and in strides a champion, a knight. Sir Oliver has returned back to Fox Hollow.
As he approaches, he smiles, friendly smile. It's a little pained, but it's just as big as it always was. And as he gets to the appropriate place, he kneels down and lowers his head just so. Lady Marcia, it is good to return.
Sir Oliver, it's great to see you home. And she'll kind of get her lady's maid to help her like get out of the chair and down off of the plinths.
Marcia has certainly grown in terms of her pregnancy since you last saw her. It's been a few weeks, probably about a month at least. Oh, actually, we'd established that you'd spent a little bit of time at Old Oak before, hadn't we? So yeah, so this is she's certainly grown now. The actual pregnancy bump is far more noticeable under her noble dress than what it once was when you saw her when she was last pregnant.
And I think she's styling herself now as well to make the bump very apparent, as that was entirely part of her claim.
Yeah.
he sort of looks around. How full is the hall right now? How many people are here?
Charlie, how full's the hall? What's it like?
I think it's got a couple of people kind of going to and fro, sorting out various things, discussing with each other. There's a number of the house guard in here just kind of stood trying to look like they're doing something, but not really doing anything. I think one of them is probably eyeing Salistria very nervously, the cat itself kind of laying lazily in a patch of sun, flicking its tail, not too pleased to be here. So yeah, I guess like 5 or 6 is the short answer for my long-winded one.
And Sir Oliver rises up. His black copper armor creaks just a little bit. He's a little slow getting up. He stands up straight and tilts up his chin, glances around just briefly, and then says, "My lady, may we speak in private? I wish to know everything that has happened since I was gone. And there are personal matters we should talk about as well."
Yes. I'm going to take a walk, she just announces to the room. And she holds out a hand for Sir Oliver to take.
Cool.
He does.
Turns to him and says quietly, "We'll go to the Godswood."
Of course. And he'll start leading at a slow and steady pace. He glances down at this point, and it would be noticeable that he was checking out her pregnancy, her bump, to see how it's grown now that he's close, to see, because it's not beyond a lady of the times to perhaps pad how pregnant they are so that they seem closer to birth than they actually are. He's just trying to get a sense for, is this real? It's grown so much.
All right.
How much pregnant does she look?
Yeah. All right. Roll me a healing with diagnosis specialty. -1 dice.
I have diagnosis specialty.
That's
I know how pregnant I am.
You know
that's
by the
1 dice. -1 dice is 0 dice.
So no.
No.
She is pregnant.
I thought you were going to do roll a poke check.
Don't so he'll lead the way to the Godswood and just have sort of light conversation at first as they're passing by people who might be listening in the hall and other guards. "How have you been, my lady?"
Well, enough. I think he's waiting for you, you know.
He's there already in the Godswood.
Yes.
Very well. I notice there are many new guards, new armor. How is this being paid for, my lady?
The house is managing. Luckily, we produce our own steel, as you know. It has been necessary. There has been trouble.
And what sort of trouble is there now?
I guess you didn't receive my letters. We have experienced raiders on the border with Dawn. Not just raiders. Have you ever heard of the Vulture King?
Sam, have I ever heard of the Vulture King? As a roaming military knight.
Yes. So this is more historical than anything. But there have been a couple of Vulture Kings in history. It's not clear canonically when exactly they were, so I'm going to leave it pretty vague. But essentially, the Vulture Kings were kind of petty. Well, the most recent one was like a petty bandit king, and they were distinctly in the Red Mountain area, the Marches. So they plagued both Dornish and Marcher houses along this area, both north and south of the mountains.
Were they Dornish? Ethnically, were they Dornish or were they Marcher?
Bit of a mix, really. The most recent, were more like wildlings, I guess. In terms of the stories that you might know, probably make them Dornish. Actually, in terms of historically, maybe a couple of hundred years ago, the Vulture King was maybe a bit like Garth Greenhand, more of a kind of mythological character, I think, and people have kind of taken on the mantle a little bit. Certainly historically, when there has actually been Vulture King, what was I going to say? They maybe actually be a petty king when there were petty kings around. I mean, the Riverlands were very broken up for several hundred years. Dawn obviously was very broken up until Nymeria came over, and her and the Martells kind of united Dawn, essentially.
So would House Ironwood then have supported any previous Vulture Kings, or would they have defended against them?
I would say they definitely would have defended against them. So
geographically, that makes sense.
Yeah, and before the unification of Dawn, the Ironwoods were petty kings in themselves. They are one of the larger houses and one of the slightly larger domains of Dawn. So they would have definitely brushed up against any kind of Vulture Kings that were trying to claim lands near theirs.
So as Oliver is progressing towards the Godswood, his voice is raspy. You can tell that it's more difficult for him to speak than normal, but he would relay just very dryly the history that Sam just shared, and then say, "So whoever this Vulture King is now is just like the ones that have come before. They will fold before the might of a true army."
Maybe we don't have a true army, Oliver.
It is a start.
Marzia, Oliver is certainly wounded or sick. There is something wrong with him. You know immediately. Your medicine is good, or your healing is good enough to know that. I mean, this could be similar to the choking disease, or it could just be something respiratory, or it could actually be a wound he has inflicted on him.
She'll wait until they're in the Godswood, and I imagine there's like a fallen tree or something there that they use as like a bench.
Yeah. It's actually been carved out a little bit. Maybe naturally fallen, but over time, people's bums have actually made an imprint.
Worn it away.
Yeah.
So she'll lead them to that spot, and this is a spot that has a good view of that weirwood tree and the small mound, which I imagine you're starting to see grass forming because we're in the spring, but it wouldn't be fully grown over yet.
This is where he lay. No.
I didn't know where else. You know, I half expected that when you came back, he'd come with you.
Me too. He lets go slowly of her arm, if she'll allow. He takes a few steps towards the mound and goes down to take a knee, much in the same motion that he made when he came into the Great Hall to kneel before Marzia. But once he's there, his head bows over, his forehead touches the mound of dirt and just now breaking grass. and you can hear very quiet, choked cries underneath his breath. And then after a moment, he kind of wipes his mouth and he straightens back up, still his back to you, but he speaks. My lady, did you know before you met him how the people of this land loved Lord Lucas?
I was always told of the Greenmont's good reputation. I didn't know before I came here, but it was clear in the years that I was here. And she'll come and stand beside Sir Oliver and lay a hand on his shoulder.
He looks down to the hand and then back to the mound. And did you come to love Lord Lucas as well?
I don't know if I've ever felt more complete than I did after a while with him. Had somewhere I belonged. Heart. Is that love, Sir Oliver?
Who am I to say? I am just a Dornish man.
An old Dornish man.
Love to us is different than love to you Northerners. Maybe respect is closer. But there is no shame in that, my lady. And he will reach up to just put his hand over top her hand. You have done well these weeks. You should feel proud of what you have done here. The right thing. Gathering more men, arming them. The threats to House Greenmont are many, and they must be dealt with one at a time.
It was all I could think of to do. Trying my best impression.
Oliver rises slowly and turns towards you, and he's a very tall man. His cheeks are sunken, and he's not eaten well these past couple of weeks since he's been wounded. He doesn't look as healthy now that you're standing close to him. Beneath his armor, he's a little bit of a shadow of the man that left to go to Oakheart. What will you do, Lady Marcia, when your son is born? What will happen to House Greenmont?
It will be, as it's always been, looked after, growing. There's a lot of work to do. A lot of people to care for. There's something else, Sir Oliver, that I have not yet mentioned. In our ward, there are 2 with a choking fever. And as she says this, she'll reach up the back of her hand to feel Sir Oliver's cheek, checking for signs of the fever.
Sure. This is going to be healing diagnosis.
Mm-hmm.
And it's going to be fairly simple, actually. Difficulty 6.
15.
Great. So almost 3 degrees. So you reach up to check for a fever, and there is a little bit of one, but as you look at his face, then look down towards his neck, you can see this large gash that's been sewn up. that would be around where the gorge lies on a piece of armor. This is clearly a wound that he's had inflicted on him.
But that is not what ails you. Sir Oliver, do you intend to return to me every time you leave this house with a new wound? And she gets more stern and she's like, what trouble have you been getting into? I left you alone for 2 weeks.
I return to you, my lady, the champion of the wedding tournament. The wound, well, it was just an accident, perhaps, or perhaps the fighter meant to hurt me. In either case, I won, he lost, and Lady Mara was crowned the Queen of Love and Beauty, as it should be.
Congratulations.
The healers there, Lockhart, are not very good. They are not you.
No, it doesn't look like they are. Sit down. And she'll indicate the log, and she intends to take a closer look at his injury here. It will not do for our new friends of the house to see you injured. You are a champion and their leader. It will not do for you to be injured.
He'll sit down on the log and he'll loosen his gorget and take it off so that she can kind of get a better look at everything. He'll hold his neck up. Believe it or not, I am already feeling much better than I was, my lady. I must tell you something now. It is about Simon.
Maester.
Maester Simon, yes, well, I do not know if he is still a maester or not. I received by the Ravens very strange letter asking me.
They threw him out.
They threw him out.
Rebellion?
I do not know. All I know is that he asks me if I will support him if he tries to. He said it so strangely. Make what was wrong right. I think he means to return to House Greenmont.
I'm not sure I understand. How does one leave the Maesters? What wrong is he righting? And she doesn't understand at all. And I think she, at this point, kind of accidentally pokes Sir Oliver in the wound that she's busy inspecting. Just because she's clumsy, and shit happens when you're clumsy and confused.
He grimaces.
I'm sorry.
He may be in danger, my lady, or he may be dangerous. I do not know. One letter. It is not enough to tell.
I have received no letters from Simon.
I am sorry, my lady.
Perhaps it was just a mistake when he heard. And she glances toward the mound and doesn't say the name or exactly what the news was.
My lady. He looks to the mound too, and then back to her, his eyes again on her midsection. What will become of you and House Greenmont when your daughter is born?
I don't believe it will be a daughter, Sir Oliver.
Well, I hope not.
I've said many prayers to old gods and new, and she looks towards the weirwood tree. Although I fear the old gods do not care for me much. The tree does nothing but cry and scream at me.
I do not know if the gods listen, or if they are just stories we tell each other and ourselves. But even if they are real, at their kindest, my lady, they are fickle gods. You cannot. You must be prepared for any outcome.
If my child is not a son, there is no House Greenmont left. I want to prepare for that moment, Oliver.
Is that the truth? Surely you have thought about it more than that.
Perhaps. But I do not focus on it. What stories do your people tell when they talk of the gods?
My people are different. Some worship the old gods, some worship the red god. Many are like I. I do not disdain the gods. I just do not believe they are here with us now. I put my faith in the people I love. I put my faith in strength. And I put my faith in doing the right thing, no matter what.
Tell me what is the right thing then? If we are to put faith in the people we love, what is the right thing, Oliver?
You must marry again.
GM intrusion. Miria, you're up next.
Ah!
Wanted to cut it on a cool cliffhangery note. The last 2 days have been difficult ones. With so much going on, and rumour and suspicion running through the halls of Summerhall. On the night Daemon Storm, the traitor spy, escaped, Lord Blackmont and his riders shot out on horseback to look for the prisoner. With the investigators absent for now, and many eager for their return, the court has turned into one of invasive looks and muted conversations. Lyra is more herself, as much as she can be. And as you, Lyra, and Harris eat a modest breakfast of sugared pears, toast, and nettle tea, the ward's dining room is quiet. But Harris looks at the both of you, and in hushed tones, strikes up a difficult conversation. They all think I did it. Everyone's looking at me like I somehow got her out. But how? How am I in prison here with royal guard around, meant to be able to smuggle out a criminal?
Well, of course you didn't do it.
Lyra offers you a sheepish look, but looks back down at her tea, unable to offer Harris anything else. Wish they'd just find out who did do it.
Well, it wasn't any of us.
Who could it have been?
I don't know. I mean, my uncle's investigation is to find out other spies at court. Maybe there is someone here.
Maybe. We could look into it. Find it. Clear our names. Just stop all this nonsense. And as he says nonsense, he looks at Lyra.
I suppose we could. I mean, people don't pay that much attention to us when we go places. So maybe we can, we can listen, we can see, we can maybe we can find it out.
Lyra finally offers something up here. She says, "What are you thinking?"
I don't know. What about you?
I don't really remember much of the night, so not really of much help. Harris then joins again and says, "The bells rang, and then I heard dog. I definitely heard the dogs in the kennels being let out. That was pretty soon after the bells started. But how did they know that the bells meant someone had escaped? Well, they wouldn't just let the dogs out on anything, and anybody."
No. So somebody must have told the kennel master then. Or someone that could get to the kennels, maybe. Do you think any of the... And she's like, God know about this?
Scepter Ygritte walks past just at that moment. Looks down at you all with a
Very
down the nose stoic look.
Sip the tea as she walks past. Yeah.
I don't really know him, so maybe we could talk to him.
Mary, I think, is very aware of how quiet Lyra is about all of this. So she just like takes a hand.
Mm-hmm.
And she says, very quietly again, "I am so sorry about what happened."
Can you roll persuasion for me?
Yes.
This is going to be convince.
Okay.
It's a specialty dice. But this is just going to be one test, and it's going to be against her passive will. Let me just
Okay.
grab that up here. So.
Let me just double check that I don't have a thingamajig to add to this. I do not know. That's for deception stuff.
It's Mara that rerolls ones, isn't it?
Yes.
Yeah. All right.
Okay, that is a 9.
She looks down. She pulls her hand from under yours and goes back to her breakfast.
Yeah, Mary will take her hand back and just sort of nod a little bit in acknowledgement.
Okay. After breakfast, there's not much besides relaxing in the gardens. There's probably a dance practice at some point, but in typical Harry Potter fashion, let's focus on the extracurricular. So you basically, I'd like to know a little bit about, like, Susie, your plan maybe, like, to look into it.
Well, before Miria would even start looking into what happened with the escaped spy, she wants to speak to Septa Ygritte.
Sure.
So she would find her at her earliest convenience.
Yeah, just after breakfast, really.
So she'd walk up to the Septa. "Excuse me, Septa, may I have a moment, please?"
Certainly. And she hobbles back from looking after a few of the much younger wards as they run about, screaming at each other like a school playground. And then she takes a seat with you, I think, on a bench.
Yeah. And Miria's body language is she's quite, usually she's kind of quite a confident way she carries herself, but she's kind of a little bit like a little bit unsure with her body language at this point, and she's probably like playing with like a hem of her sleeve or something in her lap, and she says, as you're fully aware, my uncle is here at court, Lord Blackmont. And he's leading the investigation about the spies around the various courts.
I was aware. Spit it out, child.
Do you know about him asking the ladies, as wards, questions?
It's none of my concern. And none of yours, unless you're to be asked by them for questioning.
My concern is, well, when I returned to my room after dinner a few days ago, Lyra was in a sorry state. After one of these questionings, she had a mark on her face as though she had been struck. She was drowsy, and as if she had been given something. And I know that we are wards. We are, well, no one really of status, but we are still of noble blood, and we should not be treated in such brutish ways.
Wow, all right. Roll persuasion convince for me. Yeah, what are our stats here?
15.
Oh man, no, not even. Is it 4? Yeah. No, sorry. 15 doesn't cut it. She's a devoted member of the faith.
Yeah, I know.
She looks very uncomfortable though throughout what you've been saying. You've been getting a little bit of a read on her, I think. And as you've been saying the particulars about, she looks like she's been given something. She looks like she's been hit. This really kind of bristles Ygritte's back, but she repeats again, "It is none of your concern, child. Go back to your needlework."
Mary will hold her gaze for like a beat.
Yeah.
In defiance before she gets up and walks off.
All right.
Oof. Yeah, she's doing like a little Picard maneuver. She's adjusting her skirts and
Yeah. Nice.
yeah, I'll strap off.
Okay, cool. So, did you want to really kind of poke the investigation, or did you want to do something else?
Yeah. So, I feel like Miria would try and get herself in places where people would be gossiping about what has been happening. So she would, where any sort of higher members of the court may be in the gardens or anything, or near sort of where like the maester would be, with the rookery, she would, just conveniently be walking past at useful times. But trying to make herself look as inconspicuous as possible. She would just be as though she's just going for a walk, or that she had just been to ask something, was on her way back, and, traveling to and from as if she's like doing chores and stuff like that.
Absolutely, yeah. I mean, mixing it with a couple of your own actual chores probably too.
Yeah,
lots of little things to do.
Absolutely, yeah.
Cool. All right. So this is perfect for knowledge streetwise.
Okay.
I will actually give you this as status test with streetwise as a specialty.
Okay. Well,
this is very courtly, and how you described it has been very about knowing who the right people are to listen to socially.
Yes. So let's just do.
How long are you taking?
I think she would try and devote her whole day to this, especially if she's doing her chores in between, so she can't get in trouble for not doing that. Yeah. But she was trying to, instead of sitting around and like dwelling on all the shit, she's trying to just put her brain to something.
Mate, 1 day was the right answer. Difficulty 9 for 1 day.
Oh,
So you learn one piece of information from that. More degrees of success would have helped. It was Sir Crakehall of the Kingsguard that rang the first bell.
Of the Kingsguard. Now, isn't that interesting? Okay. So I feel like as soon as she gets that knowledge, she like heads straight to Harris to see what he has.
Sure. Did you want Harris to try and investigate the Kennel Master?
Yes.
All right. Little GM roll here. Little NPC on NPC action. Let's see how this goes down. Wow, Harris is rubbish at most things.
Oh.
He's a good sneaky boy, though.
He's a good sneaky boy.
He's good. No, he's not. I think it
Okay.
stats afterwards.
Just that one time.
Okay. I'll roll 3. Hang on. Let's do this a day as well. Oh!
Oh,
Nice.
he's so good.
Nice shot, mate. All right, so he was poking around the Kennel Master, managed to press him on some stuff. He refused to tell me who, but he said that he'd been told to prepare the dogs that day. And he was ready. As soon as he heard the bell, he let them loose. This has
And
got to be a setup.
It has to be, because I heard that the man who rang the bells was of the Kingsguard.
Kingsguard?
Yes.
They don't just guard the corridors or walk the halls. He must have been with somebody.
Mm-hmm. And if it's the Kingsguard, it's either Prince Maekar, his wife, or Arian.
I'm genuinely trying to remember if there's an older brother or not.
Yeah, I can't remember now.
I think there is.
I think
Oh,
there
it's-
is.
Yes, there is, isn't it? Right, Dayron? Nope. There's too many Targaryens.
Link the wiki in chat and find out. I'm sure I wrote it down. I did some Summerhall stuff, so
Quick, research team.
quick, go. But yeah, that is what Harris brings to you. I mean, they're good. They're good suspicions. Well, then we're done for, aren't we? There's nothing we can do about that. Who is going to believe us? I mean, that's who that would be going to the Maester, or would be going to Ygritte. What are we going to say? The prince did it.
We're going to say nothing. Look, and she'll take both his hands.
Yeah.
It's bad enough that we're traitors' children. If we start launching accusations against the royalty, then we are done for.
Okay. I want you to roll for me persuasion. Convince.
10. Oh, come on, Miria. Please. You have so many dice and so many things.
It's lucky that Harris is quite impressionable, isn't it? So he calms down. And I imagine you share a moment with Harris. As he holds your hands tighter a little bit. And he says, "Thank you. You've always looked out for me." And then you hear the click of Ygritte's stick. Yeah. From the other side of the courtyard, but she's glaring in your direction.
Instantly just jump about 6 feet apart. And then just very embarrassed, will just turn and walk away.
Leaving Lord Harris in the grounds. Amazing. All right,
He
cool.
can face the wrath of the scepter. I'm
Yeah.
out.
Bye. All right. Marzia. You pad down the road that leads up to the large stone hall, its overbearing presence shrinking slowly behind you. Having escaped the hall for some much-needed fresh air, you hear the sound of fresh running water and the stream to the valley below. You tread rough ground now as you move away from the path onto uneven rock and long grass. Losing yourself in the long grass, you feel safe and unseen, a silent stalker with a supple body. As the grass and reeds break, the water touches your paws, wetting your fur and relieving some of the heat of the evening. Licking your lips, it's time to drink. And as you crane your neck to scoop up some of the refreshing water with your tongue, you see your face now, all fur, whiskers, and dark, attentive eyes. Charlie, I need you to roll an opposed will check for me, please.
Okay.
Oh, man. You're along for the ride for this one. All right. You smell him first. The sharp, pungent aroma of pheromones that marks a tree across the other side of the stream. You hear a growl from the further down the flow of the stream as he stalks behind some reeds on the opposite bank, his head emerging through the stems, staring intently towards you with dark eyes framed in black and white striped fur. He growls again, flicks his tail to the ground, and pads up and down the bank, occasionally stopping to stare at you. That kind of comfortable, longing look that cats share, that acknowledgement of presence. And then he looks up around, spots a tree, and pads along up, and with three large thrusts of his body, his front and back legs, clambers up the trunk of the tree and onto a branch that just about can't support his weight. And as he tentatively tries to step onto the branch that takes him about halfway over the stream, he falls from the branch, lands on both his feet, creating a splash in the stream. As two men walk down the track towards the strange stone arch that's just further along down the hill. Oliver, this is a scene you wanted to set up with Alfred, was it not? How did you want to set this up?
So once Alfred comes back to Fox Hollow from being out in the mountains, I'm guessing, Sir Oliver would have been waiting for him, resting, maybe getting medical treatment. And when Alfred arrives, he would have asked him if he would accompany him for a walk just out of town. There's something he wants to show him.
Alfred would definitely agree. He's wanted to be around Sir Oliver for a while. It's good to see him back. So some quality nightly time will be pretty good.
Is it nighttime right now too? Is that correct?
It's evening time.
Okay. So I imagine a pleasant night with purples and reds and a very colorful sky in the south. And Sir Oliver probably, again, starting with some small talk as they make their way from the town towards this bridge. How has it been these past weeks, Sir Alfred?
Well, it's been okay. It's been, we've been having attacks on the more border farms of the place, but we tracked down a small bandit and put them down. We brought one back for questioning, and that's where we learned about the Vulture King. Lady Marsia had him hanged. For it, but yeah, we've been sending out more scouts to keep the borders secure, farmers safe. I haven't been able to do much with this choking sickness, but I feel like I'm on the mend. I should be able to return tomorrow.
And Oliver gives him a long look. He's not medically trained, but I'm guessing he's found out about like the symptoms and how bad the choking sickness is. How bad is it around here? Is it really taking a toll?
No. It actually hasn't. There have been a couple of cases, like one in the hamlet, but then just basically this boy, Alfred, his mum was starting to come down with it, but she recovered quite quickly once she sought Marcy's medical treatment. And the boy's been improving all the time. So it's really not a plague on any level.
Sir Alfred, if you have been unwell, then who is leading the movement against this Vulture King?
Well, I've been doing the orders and the patrol routes that the scouts will be going. They should be okay. Sir Babblebrook is currently still recovering himself. But we've been leading from Fox Hollow so far.
There is not much time left for our friend Sir Babblebrook. Not much leading time. More and more, Sir Alfred, you are going to be having to take the charge from him, I think.
So Oliver, I think Sir Babblebrook has a few more years left in him. I mean, sure, he does talk a bit of nonsense and babble here and there, but who wouldn't at someone of his age? And you'll look at Oliver. Well,
it is all right, Sir Alfred. We do not all age the same way, and
yes.
I hope to have more years left as well.
I'm sure you have many, many more years left.
It's at that moment you hear an almighty splash from the stream as this shadow cat jumps down, it seems, from the branch, lands and pads back over to the other side of the stream, shaking itself off.
Is this a recognizable shadow cat?
I want you to roll for me cunning.
I can't roll anything right now.
A shadow cat's common in this area.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
They're like mountain cats, basically.
Yeah.
So
kind of lynxes, that kind of, mountain lion type things, yeah.
You want me to do cunning, you said?
Yeah, I like cunning and maybe animal handling charm specialty.
Survival can apply with like.
Oh, yeah, sorry, go survival.
Sweet. Can I do track?
Survival.
Or is it just survival?
No, I mean,
Survival.
no, this would be like, I don't even know. Let's get the specialties out, shall we? Hang on.
I mean, I've only got track in survival, so...
That's not it.
Okay, so I'll just do survival. Oh, my word.
Yeah, cunning, memory, or survival.
16 for my survival roll.
Could you do survival with memory dice?
Yeah. You got any memory bonus dice there, Tom?
Nope.
Cool. All right. All right. So, but you recognize this is a male shadow cat. It's large enough. It's got the kind of body shape to it. But Oliver, just nah. So this is a shadow cat. You don't recognize it. You do. The two of you do see another shadow cat on the near side, your bank. The bank, I imagine, dips right down as the road is raised up slightly from it. Alfred, you see Salastria. You see Marcy's shadow cat on kind of your side of the stream. It's on its own, and it's looking towards this male shadow cat. Sir Oliver, you see another shadow cat on your side of the bank.
He's not overly concerned. They're not moving towards them or appearing aggressive in any way.
No. And Marcia, from inside Salastria's head, you see this male shadow cat actually looking up at the men and padding away a little bit, just retreating back a little behind the tree and then looking at them and then kind of relaxing a little bit, looking back at you. And then if it hears another kind of kick of the dirt, it will kind of look back again and then kind of move, still trying to get to you, not wanting to cross this stream, and still just kind of dipping in and out of the reeds and the long grass, trying to kind of avoid detection from the men above. And you can hear strangely familiar voices. And from this haze of fur and water and pheromones, you can't quite place these voices, but you know that in that dream sense, you know them, and you can hear what they're saying, at least.
Sir Oliver will just kind of lean over, press his arms against the edge of this bridge. It's this old stone bridge that goes over the creek. And he kind of stares off into the setting sun, into the sky. He doesn't speak for, a few long seconds. And then he'll sort of lean back to Alfred. I used to come here when I was your age with Lord Lucas. Many times since then we came here. We talked of stories and politics and poetry, of war and combat. We drank and we ate. They were always good memories.
Alfred will smile and come up next to him and tap him on the shoulder and just look out and take in the entire scenery, just soak it all in. It's a good place to come. It's good land, and it's something I love dearly. Spent my whole life here. I never met Lord... Oh, yes, I did. Sorry. I never really got to know Lord Lucas that much. He knighted me, but it was very... barely shared a few words. He seemed a good man.
Yes, he was the best man. What of you, Sir Alfred? You speak of love. Is there a woman that you have taken close to? A man, perhaps?
He'll kind of climb up and on the side of the bridge and have his legs dangle over. There's barely any time for that anymore.
Oh. No. Sir Alfred, what are you doing all of this for? When you are young and strong like you are, there is not a man or a woman at the end of the night. It does not seem worth it.
And he'll just outstretch his arm and put it forward and show all before. This is all worth it for me. Maybe one day. Maybe I just haven't met the right person. But with the scouts and ensuring Lady Marcia is okay, it takes up a significant amount of my time. That and training.
You have been training very hard now these last years, Sir Alfred. Let me ask you this. You have spent time with Lady Marcia since we have been gone. She has suffered much, and people here have suffered much. What do you think of how she is managing the house?
Honestly?
Yes.
I think Lord Lucas would be proud. I was there for when she dealt justice against the brigand that we brought in. She was of steel that we forge in a blacksmith. And although I wasn't there for the speech, I did hear the roar that went up after she gave it. I think she would be a good leader. I think she's to win the best. I do worry for her, though. The stress, all the duty that she's taken on. I fear for her health and the babies. I made it a point to ensure that no one with choking sickness were to enter. Knowing my lady, she would see each and every one of them and try and help them. But for the good of her and the baby's health, I have been sending them away.
That is good of you.
And Marcia, you're still hearing these voices of these men, but Celestria has other ideas and is starting to pad away back up towards the large stone human's hall, and isn't following this male shadow cat very much. He's still looking back, but he follows her along the stream, ducking in between the long grass. And just as Celestria gets up to the top towards the actual hall, she looks back over at the shadow cat, the male shadow cat, as it waits and watches her. You stir, you wake a little in your bed. You've been down for a nap. Not quite undressed yet. It's still early evening. The dinner having defeated you. What's the mood?
Chicken. Right?
Right.
I imagine maybe after dinner she'd gone to kind of change and do some stuff, and she'd sat as the sun was setting, and that nice warm kind of feeling hits her. She just kind of fell asleep in like her window seat or whatever.
Man, that's it. That's
And
the
leaning up
mood.
in the window.
Yeah. So Celestria is not with you in your chambers.
And she'll turn and she'll look out the window, taking in kind of the view of the lands and digging back through the haze to the bridge, the stone arch, to the two men talking. And try and piece it together, and I can almost imagine it's like when you wake up and you're trying to explain a dream, and the harder you try and explain it, the more the details kind of fade away, and your brain starts making new logic in it that didn't exist in that dream. And she'll give up, shrug it off, and go and get some wine and sort her hair and prepared to head back down to the hall. So used to just being responsible from kind of sun up, sundown, and a little bit beyond that.
Kids, don't drink while pregnant at home. Don't do that. Just saying.
Don't do it. She doesn't know.
Yeah, no, she doesn't really.
Wine is a good tonic.
But she does know in a strange way, even though it can't be true, that it felt as if Lord Lucas and a young Sir Oliver were stood at the bridge talking. Gents, you can carry on. I know there's some important stuff to say.
At this point, Alfred's probably got something in his fingers and he's playing around with it, and he's just looking out onto the countryside as the stars start to shine and the sun just goes beyond the horizon.
Oliver's looking out too. It's quiet for a time. And he looks aside to Alfred after a little while. What is that there that you have?
He holds out, and it's the rolled up parchment, the letter that Sir Oliver sent. And he holds it, and he turns to him. What What does this mean? And he'll kind of haphazardly turn back and face him as he kind of scrolls the letter down, and he reads it. And it probably took him a while to read it because he's not very good at reading. And he... What do you mean by this? And he'll hand him the letter.
Sir Oliver takes the letter, rolls it up tightly, and kind of taps it against the edge of this bridge. He looks back out. Sir Alfred, have you thought about what I said in this letter? What you want for your life?
I have, yes. I've been trying to figure out what it all means. I don't understand.
Where do you imagine you will be sitting in 5 years, 10 years? What is it that you hope for more than anything in your heart?
To be worthy of being a knight. Serve House Greenmont with everything that I have, and to protect this land and everyone.
You remember what so few remember now. The rebellion, the Battle of Redgrass Field.
And his face will visibly sink, and his eyes will go down, and he'll visibly, with his hands, kind of squeeze them.
You remember the black sorcery that happened that day. You remember what our enemies did. Not just the House Greenmont, but to so many noble men. Yes.
I remember. Every night.
To be a good knight, Sir Alfred, you remember your oaths to protect the innocent and those who cannot protect themselves, to be a just man, a righteous man, who cares for the people of the land, and who will abide no evil. Do you have the strength in your heart to be this man now and always?
He'll clench his fist, and then from sitting down on the stone, he'll get up, stand up tall. Yes. Yes, I will. I know I can do it, and I will.
I know you can too. And so does your father. It is why he made you a knight.
What? No. My father, he died when I was
No.
4 days gone.
No. No, Sir Alfred. There was no one who knew your father better in this world than me. No one who loved him in this world better than me. He told me the truth that I tell you now. Your mother, she knows too, I'm sure.
So, on the flowers?
But you, if you could be a Greenmont,
It's not possible. I'm a bastard. I said it's not possible.
Sir Oliver will take both of his hands and try to put them on Alfred's shoulder and kind of look down into his eyes. Where I come from, people do not think of bastards the same way. And I know that it will not be easy. But you have a choice now. You can be the best knight that you can be. You can honor the memory of your father. Or you can seek to be given the name that I believe you deserve, and I believe your father would have wanted you to have. House Greenmont needs strength now. Its children are split into the winds. I think you would be a just lord.
He looks down, and then he looks up to Sir Oliver. He's not as tall as Sir Oliver, so he still has to look up. This isn't Dawn. This is the Reach. And bastards, they're a stain on the family's name. And he steps back. I will remain a wild. Lady Marsia will have a son, and the House Greenmont will live on. And he turns and walks back to Fox Hollow.
Sir Oliver will turn, lean his arms against the stone bridge, and look out into the twinkling stars.
Miria.
I'm sorry, but how am I supposed to follow that? Come on. Oh.
It's the mid-afternoon of a particularly warm spring day that the hunting party return, with sour looks on their faces. As soon as the Dornishmen return on their sand steeds with hunting dogs in tow, the mood in the Targaryen summer residence changes. The whole place falls silent, with courtiers, servants, and the household all waiting expectantly for the scouts to have found their mark. Daemon Storm, the rough young woman you last saw wrapped in cloaks and rough-spun clothing, is nowhere to be seen. As soon as the scouts stable their horses and the dogs return to their kennels, the hunting party waste no time in getting to work once more, and you are told to wait in your rooms. In the intervening hours, Lyra paces. Joy weeps in the corner.
Maria would be trying to do everything in her power to like keep busy and do something. So she's sorted through her stuff time again. She's, made her bed. She's arranged her accessories. She's trying to distract Joy and talking about stories and like almost quizzing her and stuff, like just trying to keep Joy engaged to stop her crying, because that's just not going to help things.
As you're telling one of these stories, Lyra says, "Shut up. Shut up. They're coming for us, you know that. Harris told me what you were up to. They're coming for us. They're coming for us again. I can't let that happen." She breaks down in tears as he repeats, "They can't come back for me," and she's sat in her bed.
Mira dashes straight over to her, and she doesn't like envelop in her hug, but just puts one hand on her. "They're not coming for us. It's okay. You're going to be all right."
That calms her down, but she shrugs the arm off her shoulder.
Look, I'm trying. I'm trying to make sure this doesn't happen again.
And she looks at you in the eyes, and then she just says, "Well, try harder." There's a knock at the door, and it's dinner. Dinner's brought to your quarters, and you enjoy what you can of it. It's a fairly simple dinner, with little Joy Mallister sobbing in between bites. As you start to finish up, you hear the stick of Scepter Ingrid and several other footsteps make their way past your door and undeniably stop at Harris's quarters and lead him down the corridor. It's an agonizing hour that goes by until Scepter Ingrid's hobbled walk is heard again, and that tap, tap, tap on the stone floor, bringing Harris back to his chambers. The group's footsteps don't return back down the corridor, but instead stop at your door. As it opens, Scepter Ingrid limps aside, revealing Lord Will in a yellow doublet and black snakeskin trim. Behind him stand Gerald Sand, with his shock of blue hair and the somber face of your uncle, with distant, troubled eyes. Lord Will just says one word. "Miria." And the group wait for you to follow.
Yeah, so she'll take her time to put aside her thing, stand up, straighten herself off. She gives Lyra a firm nod, pats Joy on her shoulder and says, "I'll be right back. It's going to be all right." And chin up walks towards Lord Will and her uncle and Gerald Sand. "My lords."
You are frog marched down empty halls, all bar guards, and you walk back into the sewing room from the first time that they interrogated somebody. The doors are closed by Lord Edmund, and the room is silent. The two Dornishmen stare at you from two chairs facing yours, as you're sat down in the centre of the room. Gerald Sand looks serious now, even with his bright blue hair, and Wyndon Will, in that yellow surcoat, stares at you as you sit in the chair in that middle of the room. The sunset's been shuttered out, so the shafts of light coming in only half illuminate the room, while candles cast an orange light that dances on their faces, creating shadows across their brows. Lord Edmund, your uncle, stands behind the men, avoiding your gaze and shifting his between the two men and the floor. Without saying anything, Lord Will stands and opens a small chest on a side table to your right-hand side, pulling out a little vial with a strange chalky powder inside. He takes a pinch and mixes it with a small glass dropper of a clear liquid, turning it milky, and steps towards you as Gerald Sand approaches. With 2 strong hands, Gerald Sand holds your head and pinches your nose. No matter you're struggling, Lord Will and Gerald hold you down and wait to you to gasp for air. And when that moment comes, Lord Will drops the liquid down your throat. For a moment or two, they do nothing as you choke.
I feel like she has the urge to fight because obviously she's just been pinned down and had this shoved in her mouth. But I think a cooler head prevails, and she doesn't try and just like flee or whatever because she realizes she's not going to be able to go anywhere.
Sure.
So she just lets the choking, like, just very passive as this happens.
Sure. Do you essentially swallow the liquid rather than trying to choke it up and spit it up?
Yeah.
Okay.
Because they just do it again, but worse.
Letting you go, Lord Will measuredly replaces the dropper and closes the small chest. Now, with this intrigue, interrogation is always very much a power play. So these guys are going to go first. You are going to go last.
Mm-hmm.
I need to roll. What is your passive endurance?
Let me look. It's not going to be very high. So that would be endurance times 3, right?
Times 4.
Times 4, that'd be 8.
So that is 2 degrees, not 3. Okay. You're going to take -1 dice to cunning tests.
Mm-hmm.
And it's a bit of a house rule, but I am going to implement -1 on your intrigue defense because of the penalty to cunning. Gerald Sand is sat at a chair in front of you just to your right-hand side, staring seriously at you now. We just want to ask you some questions, Milia. Nothing bad will happen to you so long as you answer truthfully. Lord Will's medicine will help you remember, and will make this easier for all of us here. And as he's saying that, the room just starts to wobble slightly, and your vision just starts to blur in the corners and in the details. It's beginning to get slightly foggier to think. Tell us all you know about Data Storm and how she might have escaped. And I am going to read target. Where's Geralt? There he is. So this is... this is against your passive deception. So deception times 4.
That is a 12.
Oof. Okay. So, what is your disposition towards Gerald Sand?
Right now,
Yeah.
It would be at dislike.
Sure. Okay. Excuse me there a second. And this is +1 dice to his next like persuasion, deception rolls, that kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Lord Will moves over to the... Well, actually, I'd actually like a little bit of conversation here as well, not just to kind of go into some of the... We've been very good waiting for other people to speak in the intrigues, but I'd actually be interested to hear a little bit. So he repeats again. What do you know about Data Storm and how she might have escaped.
At this point, Maria's eyes are starting to fill with tears a little bit because she's in a very stressful situation, and her eyes are very much on her uncle right now. And she says, "I told my uncle everything I know. I told him that she tried to recruit me to be a spy for Aegon Rivers. But that's all I know. I know nothing else. I swear it."
Okay, so roll me persuasion convince, because that was absolutely the truth.
Yep.
And I'm going to award you 2 bonus dice.
Woo!
Because it's, it is very convincing. And having that kind of firm truth behind what you're saying is also going to help here.
Oh my god. Oh.
Gerald Sand and Lord Will just stare at you, waiting for a second. Lord Will moves over to the corner of the room, and your uncle eyes him with dread and suspicion, though his posture is still sunken and somewhat defeated as he leans on a side table on the other side of the doorframe. Lord Will takes a curious stick with a Y-shaped end, leans over to a basket, and proceeds to pull out a black snake with a thick, smooth body about a yard in length. It writhes in his hands, but he presses its head down onto the stone floor with a stick, and then clutches its neck with one hand and wraps its body around the stick. He approaches you as Gerald Sand takes a couple of steps back, his eyes still fixed on your face, his brow furrowed with malice. "Tell me how she escaped, child," Lord Will spits as he brings the snake closer to your leg. He tightens his grip on its neck, and out of its mouth pop sharp, needle-like fangs and a hiss. Lord Will controls it perfectly, as its head almost brushes your knee. "This viper's poison won't kill, but it will make this ordeal all the more painful for you. Confess now, little one, and this can all be over." He pauses for a second before yelling, "Tell me!" and brandishing the snake up towards your face, its fangs just short of your chin. Gerald Sand asks, "Did you have anything to do with her escape? Did your friends? As you've said, you've met this prisoner before, and so your uncle has told us. But why? Think a helpless girl like you could grow up to something like her? Fight us? As if your traitor's blood could run anything other than black." And this is a taunt.
+1 bonus dice.
Thank you very much.
Charlie, please, come on.
I'm sorry, but it was really nasty. Also, lie. You've got lots of bonus dice for lying.
14 against your intrigue defense. Your modified intrigue defense.
Yeah, no, that beats.
Okay. 1 degree?
Yes.
All right.
No, yes.
1 sec. Someone wasn't prepared quite like this. I am just checking what taunt goes off for your intrigue damage. Awareness rank. Okay, so that is 3 composure damage.
Okay.
But make sure you apply the damage, the disposition rating, the DR, that will absorb some of that. At least all of it, I think.
Yeah, it does, yeah.
Cool, not a problem. You hear from the edge of the room footsteps coming closer, and then Lord Will's form in front of you, dropping back with a flash of a yellow tabard that comes into view as the vulture tackles the snake. Lords Blackmont and Will grapple each other, the viper tossed to the floor as both men part, avoiding its angry slither. It lunges for its handler, but your Uncle Edmund already has a dagger in his hand and stabs the snake swiftly, first in its body and then pinning its head and neck to the floor. Lord Will then lunges for Edmund, knocking him to the ground, and the two men tussle, with Gerald Sand stood next to you, shocked, unable to do anything but look on. As the men flail and grip to one another, the whirlwind of arms and legs stops suddenly, and blood flows down Lord Will's neck. Edmund stands, visibly shaking, before Gerald Sand runs at him, brandishing his own dagger now, and the two men duck, weave, and lunge at each other, vying for that moment for a duel to strike when an opening presents itself. Your uncle dances around the bastard boy, clearly the better dagger fighter, and as Gerald brings his dagger up towards Edmund's face, your uncle sees his opportunity and plunges his dagger several times into Gerald's ribs. Gerald falls, shock marking his dying face. Edmund looks about him, then at you, and walks over to you, holding you up under one arm, and rushes you out of the room before the poison overcomes your senses and you fall into a deep, dark sleep. And I know it's a little early, but that is where we're going to finish tonight.
What? The black one stole the baby! The black one stole the baby!
What? Okay.
So unfortunately for all of us and for all of you in chat, we are actually going to take a break from the main part of the campaign next week. I'll be doing a prep stream for all of the different house actions and fortunes, so I can catch up a little bit. Also, because of UK Games Expo next weekend, Virginia's not with us, and I wanted to concentrate on Simon and Mara's story for next time. So next week we're going to take a break, as I said, from the main campaign. It's our little mid-season break, I think, and then we're going to reconvene at Highgarden the week after that. Susie, I'm checking in. How are you doing? You okay?
Yeah.
You're actually okay?
Yeah.
Cool. Okay.
I'm just like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
No, that was ace. That was fucking cool.
All right. Cool. Yeah, I mean, that's a lot happened this session. I said to Virginia today, with my typical like DM grin, I was like, everything changes after tonight, mate.
Yeah. No shit.
Yeah. It's all changed. All right. But, okay, let's maybe go around and maybe unpack a little bit and have a little chat. Dawn, you came back in after a week or so off with some big news. How was that? How was that for you?
Oh, man. It was a lot of fun. I didn't know how I was going to go about any of the things I did today. So I had a few different ideas in mind, and it kind of depended on how the Marcia and Alfred reacted. And
yeah.
I had no idea how they were going to react. So it was really fun getting to play those scenes out. I loved playing this game, and I loved getting to interact with those characters for the first time in game, which is really cool. Yeah, I'm really looking forward to. I'm going to be missing this. I know we're off next week, and then the week after that, I'm out because I'm getting married, and the week after that is Origins. I can't remember if I'm out for that week or not, but whenever I get to play next, I'm going to be looking forward to it and seeing how kind of the chips fall. There's a lot of moving pieces right now, and one of them is unconscious and poisoned and being kidnapped. So yeah, I had a really good time. I love these characters, and thank you very much for having me. As always, thanks everybody in chat for hanging out. You're all awesome too. You can follow me online at Jonathan Fry. I do some things. I have my Wednesday games, which are also off for a couple of weeks, but I will shout out this Sunday at 6:00 or close to 6:00 on Tales from the Grim on Twitch. We are going to be doing some Marvel Heroes RPG. So we're going to be playing some X-Men and New York City superheroes. I'm going to be Wolverine. I've got claws. I've got super cosplay. I'm super pumped. I can do my real gravelly voice, and I can kill people.
You can. You demonstrated that tonight.
That's right. Yeah. So I'm looking forward to that on Sunday. But yeah, I thank you so much, Sam.
No, not a problem at all. It's brilliant having you on. Good fun. So, Charlie,
Samuel,
who talks of nothing but this game. It's all change.
Mr. Webb.
Yeah. I should say for chat that Tom only approached me privately to ask if he could take the bastard board quality, and I had to twist the knife a little bit. So we developed this, and then we worked out whether anyone knew. I can't remember exactly. I think we figured out a little bit of Sir Oliver might, and I was like, yeah, can we let's put in some confidence kind of thing. So I made Tom tell Don in a very kind of meta way, but no one else in the cast knew, and I think that comes across probably from all the GIFs that are about to be shared on all the Twitters as we make them, and just Jason's reaction in chat as well. So yeah, I mean, what of your reaction? Like, for Marzia being this kind of dowager lady, it's a tough gig now.
I spent 2 hours on a Discord call with Susie today because we were counting down and we had nothing to do but talk about this game, obviously, because this is our life now. And we realized we talk about it as if we're like, this is real people. There are real like standards and real things that have to be done to achieve certain things. And I set the goal. I wanted to delve into Oliver and Lucas's relationship because I'd forgotten what we discussed about them. And I was only reading through the wiki and reading through Sir Oliver's page, which, by the way, is fantastically written. Go and check out what Don's done. It's a killer page on our wiki that I remembered about it. And I've been thinking a lot about Oliver coming home and how for Marzia, that's like the final nail in that Lucas coffin, because for Marzia, they were always together. Lucas and Oliver were a pair. They were the generals together. They came in wounded together. So that was really interesting. And obviously a huge revelation, because when we started this game, no one wanted to be the heir to the house. This was a huge problem we had. None of the boys wanted to be the heir to the house. So I had decided that I wanted to play this pregnant woman. I hadn't intended for it to be the Lord's wife or anything like that. And so this whole thing has developed, and we've always had this bastard gambit. We need to go find a bastard. And I guess now we have one. Yeah, huge revelation. I loved it so much. I love seeing Sir Oliver kind of at home and in this environment with these people. And also, I have to say, if Lord Blackmon absconds with Miria, as would be the sensible thing to do, having just killed a couple of people in Maker's house, that's actually better for us, because I had no idea how we were going to get Miria out of Summerhall. So I'm much happier if Miria is on the road, all right? We can work with that. Away from Targaryens is an upswing, all right? I am about this. I'm not super happy about what just happened. Not super happy about the shit that's going down, but I think, we can work with this. Not the end of the world as far as I'm concerned. Marzia is going to lose her shit. There will be much shit lost. It's been a very weird time, and a lot is going on in the news about Simon not being a maester, being a maester on his way, making right what is wrong. That was like, can't compute that information. What does that even mean? And then this overheard conversation while she's busy wagged into Salistria's brain, and there's this male cat stalking around. Very distracting times. And then Oliver just dead onto her face going, you've got to get married again. You realize this, right? So I think they're going to have some very interesting conversations down the line. And I can't wait to see what happens at Highgarden when court is in session. I'd been stressing with Susie over the fact that we have no representative for court as far as Marzia knows, because she can't go. There's just no way she go. It's not that far, but it's still really risky, and you need someone at the house. My other option was Lana, but really she's the true Greenmont that we also need at the house, and we kind of can't trust her because she's deceptive and spooky. And then I was like, Sir Oliver, but he's not really a Greenmont, and he might have his own shit going on, because I don't know what he's going to come back and tell Marzia. Did you note how little he actually told Marzia about that tournament, by the way, sir? And now we have Sir Alfred, the bastard born. But luckily, Marcia doesn't know that bit yet.
Luckily.
I'm going with luckily for now.
Luckily for Tom or luckily for you?
Both.
Yeah.
But yeah, I really love that interaction. I thought there were a lot of like really endearing moments seeing Sir Oliver at the house and seeing, I think for the first time seeing people act kind of as a family, as they have histories together, they have these connections, and they have some caring for each other, which is really nice. And I just can't wait till maybe one day most of the family will be together. I don't believe all of us will ever be in the same room, but maybe most of us.
Most.
And props to Sam for a really savage scene. That was beautiful. I loved it a lot. And look at you padding your kill count.
They're my NPCs. I could do what I want with them.
But that was so cool. In chat, I was savagely describing what I would like to do to them. Unfortunately, won't get to do that now. But, you know, maybe someone else somewhere along the lines. Props to Susie. It's hard to do scenes on your own.
Particularly scenes like that too.
But that was great. Fingers crossed Harris makes it. But he's too good. He probably won't.
Oh, Harris. Oh.
So,
I'm gonna write Harris question mark on my notepad.
Shout out to chat for being here with us, supporting us in this. We're having a really good time, as I hope you can tell, and I hope you don't mind me rambling for like 20 minutes to just debrief myself on this, because it's a lot going on.
Yeah.
Please do check out the Wikipedia. We're doing our best to kind of keep it up to date for you all and have lots of interesting things. I need to add a family tree on there soon.
Yeah.
And add someone to it, apparently. But now I'm super excited. I've been super into watching Sir Alfred develop and have this plotline where he's coming to terms with just being a member of court, and now that he has this opportunity, and then seeing his response, it was a really cool knee jerk. I don't know if he's gonna end up sticking to it, but it was a really cool knee jerk to see. And just, I love everyone. Everyone is on a journey, and it's gonna be shit for all of them, and it's gonna be interesting to see who comes out the other side and where they come out, because it's like a rabbit hole. You just keep going.
Yeah, and like I'm getting to points of other people's stories, or I think maybe more your story and the house there, where I'm just like, I got no idea where you're going. I got no idea.
It reminds me, I was saying this to Susie, it reminds me of Monster Hearts. There's some guidance for GMs and players, and one of the guidance for the GMs, I think, is to use your NPCs like a stolen car. Go fast, you're not going to get to keep it. And then for the players, it's play beef barrel, be truthful to what the game demands and to what the story demands. And I think that applies so much to this game, but this is a fantastic system and so much fun. I hope everyone who wanted it went in on that bundle of holding. Keep an eye out for that in the future for Green Ronin. They might do it again. Bug them, maybe they will. The other thing that I wanted to mention is we are slowly bullying Sam into setting up a Black Cats Discord so everyone can come and talk to us, because I need more people to talk at, okay? I can't handle this, and Susie needs a break.
Well, she's going to be on a plane for a while. You're not going to have anyone to talk to for a bit.
I will fill up her Discord.
Yeah.
I will have messages ready to send from the plane when as soon as I land, I'll be like...
And we do periodically just message each other. We're fucked. Like, just over and over. And just new and exciting ways are coming up for that to be true. So yeah, just thanks everyone for this. Thank you, Sam. This is fantastic. The Killer Game. Thank you, Don and Tom, and Susie and Virginia, and of course Jason.
Oh, thank you. I'm having as much fun as you guys are, and more. This is
as
awesome.
for plugs, just real quick before I totally forget, come and check out May Black Roses Bloom on Wednesdays. Don's DMing that is a killer deep campaign set in the Dragonlance universe, mixed with Ravenloft. And next week the parties meet. We've been running kind of two parties. Next week the worlds collide, and I finally get to meet the other players, which I'm very excited about. And on Sundays, come and check out Sky Chasers over on Tales from the Grim. That's running right before the game that Don mentioned in the 4 p.m. Eastern slot with Sam and Virginia and Susie and Edelyn and Greg and me. So yeah.
It's an awesome game. I'm having a good time with it. Real good time.
Yeah, that's
so cool.
Call of Cthulhu system, 1950s, Americana, X-Files-y. shenanigans.
We're currently running through a cornfield in a thunderstorm with our guns and our torches out. It's great.
And you know there are bear traps everywhere.
Yep. I didn't think about that before I ran.
No.
No.
So yeah, thank you very much.
No problem.
I'll shut up now.
Tom, your secret's out, mate.
It is, yeah. It is, yeah. You know what's funny? I really struggled to come up with a character for this. I had an idea, but I was just trying to figure it out. And when we were doing the house, and everyone was going like this, and this, and what's the main problem? And they thought, and everyone was going, oh, we don't have an ear. Oh well, we'll rely it. And that instantly, I just in my mind went, yep, I'm going to be a bastard. Yep, so from the very beginning. I think that was probably one of the first things I thought, yeah, I'll do that. It'd be a nice little twist to add. So yeah, not too bad. We'll see how Alfred's dealing with it. From that scene, he is just like, run! It's too much. But we'll see how it develops and circumstances. He is betting on hopefully a son. He really is. And then he can be happily a wild and just continue on. No one else has to know. And then he won't even have to act like he's a bastard. You know, he can just stay under the name Wild because only 2 other people know. That's what's going through his mind at the moment, but things change in Game of Thrones, so who knows? But hell of an episode. I mean, poor Miria. I mean, oh my God. You know, I don't know. I think we have to go to plan B, Don. I think it's definitely we're gonna have to do the plan.
March on Summerhall.
If he's still there.
We don't know.
No.
Last time we know, March on Summerhall is in my notes. It was already in my notes.
Amazing.
But yeah, I mean, even if Alfred wanted to be, he is still a bastard, and they are still not legitimized until a king or something like that makes them legit. So it's still only it's not like I never wanted it to be kind of like solves all your problems right here. In fact, I wanted it to be it could, but it actually adds more problems while you do it. So you got to work for it, and you never get a win in Game of Thrones. You got to work for every little tiny win that you have. So I'm really enjoying it. I can't believe I got to wait so long for the next episode, but hey, it is what it is. And I'll be looking forward to it. What am I doing? What do I do? I'm on Encounter Roleplay Wednesdays, 7 p.m. GMT, 2 p.m. Eastern for Cult, which is fun. So that'd be great. But I think those are the only, and obviously this one, those are the only games that I are currently on at the moment. And I do occasionally stream video games here, there, and everywhere. So yeah, that's me. I can't wait for 2 weeks' time to continue the story.
Thank you very much. You know, I see other people's streams, and everyone's like, I'm doing this thing, and it's fantastic, and this, that, and the other. And we're all like, I do a thing at some point, I'm sure.
If it's not this stream in Game of Thrones, who cares?
Oh,
you know?
Tom, don't say that, you'll get me in trouble. Get me in trouble with Will, he'll come after me.
Oh, Will.
I said to Susie today, Tom's really wily. We got to watch him. He's going to turn out to be a spy or something. And then today I'm like, did. I really hope he doesn't turn out to be the Vulture King, like as we were talking in chat. And then that letter came through. I was like, no. But also, there are like levels of this, but like this top level, the meta, I think this is super cool, and I'm so excited.
I tend to get a lot of the existential level, where it's all screaming into the void from you guys. It's lovely though.
Speaking of
screaming into the void. Yeah.
Oh, I just got a message on Discord from my friend saying, "You're so fucked never having that Sweet 16 party."
Oh, fucking hell.
So, yeah, Mary is having a fun time right now, huh? Dad was a traitor, brother's an oath breaker, uncle just murdered 2 men and kidnapped her from Prince Makar's house.
Yeah.
She's surrounded by fucking idiots.
Yeah. there is this I was going to say vibe then. There is this feeling
Mood.
there is this mood in the group of like all the men are idiots and the women do all the good intrigue politicking. I think that's so true. And when I was writing that, I was thinking of that too, in a way. I had you in the back of my head going, all the men are idiots, and I was like, yeah, he is an idiot. Yeah, keep writing.
Like even Harris is a fucking idiot.
Yeah.
He's a sweet boy, but he's an idiot. I hope he's okay.
Yeah. Me too.
I saw you write a Harris question mark. Don't like that.
It's got an exclamation mark after the question mark.
Well, that's even worse.
It's that serious, yeah.
No. Oh no.
But where can we find you? What are you up to?
Well, you see, this week coming up, I'm not going to be anywhere because I'm on holiday. So I'll be in Montreal. I'll be going to see the Cirque du Soleil. I'll be going to nice restaurants and trying not to think about this game. But I will be.
Yeah,
There'll be some like cool acrobatic shit in front of me. I'll be like, yeah, but Charlie, we're fucked. No, but Charlie, though, really. Oh, meme. Boop.
Yeah.
But yeah, the week after, I should be getting semi back to normal. I'll be streaming on my channel Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. Thursday, I'll be in chat here or in game, what casting call we have. And on Friday, I'll be in Judge Dredd and the World's 2000 AD as Judge Judy, who is apparently the best judge there is there. She's not addicted to drugs or doing shady stuff.
Well, of course she's the best. She's Judge Judy.
She's Judge Judy, yeah. She's the purest judge out of the lot of them, bizarrely, despite being this close away from being a perp. But yeah, I have a pinned tweet that's got my schedule on it and stuff, and I'll just scream on Twitter about what I'm doing. So
there you go. Yeah. Friday, that's on Encounter Roleplay.
Yes,
right?
it is. Yes.
Yeah.
So I'm a professional. I tell you where I'm going to be. I just expect you to know.
We know what we're up to.
Yeah.
Cool. Well, I was hella nervous going into this one because I had that story time at the end. I knew it was coming up. And I knew that, like I said to Virginia, this episode changes a lot of things about the game, but it was super fun. So super fun.
I remember on Tuesday you said I think it was Tuesday, you said this game's going to change everything. And that phrase has haunted me so deeply.
Yeah, we were on that call today. I was like, yeah, but Charlie said this one's going to change everything. And what does that mean? I don't know.
And
now we do.
Today, we've all been losing our shit in our little cast chat, and you have been so quiet, so controlled, and just props to you for that. And yeah, how do you feel, Sam? Did you have fun? Did you enjoy it?
I had a ton of fun. This felt like Critical Role on some kind of R-rated trip, like kind of
it felt
stuff.
like a real Game of Thrones episode.
Yeah, this more than any of them. And it's funny that I think I've maybe heard that what you said, Charlie, about like treat your NPCs like a stolen car kind of thing. And it is so true that I've kind of done that, and all the way through writing it, as I've said to you guys already, like I've always been like, oh no, I can't do that. It's a bit. Oh no, actually, right, okay, this could be really juicy, and like, carry on with it. And that's because that's Game of Thrones, really, that kind of twist of the knife, and constantly, you make a slip up, which Edmund has, and you're going to pay for it. Yeah, two dead dudes.
What is interesting is we do kind of have this little safety system in place, and we've discussed kind of where we have our lines and our veils, and we recently kind of discussed how that's kind of shifting because we trust this group, and what we're willing to explore and play out with each other and deal with is slightly different because we do trust it and we are invested in this world. Yeah, it's always going to be still tricky ground. There's still always things that it's like, are you okay afterwards?
Yeah. Again, a good bit of disclosure for people. We spoke briefly, I think, earlier in the week, didn't we, about like how do you feel about interrogation scenes, because you knew that was going on with different people. And I just, thanks for being such a kind of good sport with it, because I think it's some real kind of potentially good character development for her. And your uncle as well, which I'm going to be really interested in seeing. But also that, whole thing with Game of Thrones that just shows is people in power and what they do and what they get up to and what they think they can get away with. The whole thing around, I'm not sure if it really came across, but that kind of treating the wards much differently from, and much more abusively than the other people they either question or the other loyalists, courtiers and household that is around. I mean, the conclusion you came to about Aerion, yeah, you can't do anything about that. Like, if you wanted to pursue that, similarly with any, because they are just the royal family. People won't let you get away with it, and people pay for their lives with that. That's just atrocious.
Mm-hmm. Which is why we got to get the hell out of Dodge right now, because there's 2 dead men in Prince Maykar's house. One of them is a lord too, which that's good.
What was so interesting for me about that scene was when Blackmont first showed up, he was kind of head of it all and like the lead. And then in that scene, we saw him being much more compliant to the other 2 who were being very exploitive of power, being like, oh, let's try this out. Snake on a stick.
Mm-hmm. I can't help but feel that would have gone very different if the earlier intrigues had not happened that way too.
Yeah.
If, I hadn't have been like, bam, lay on the charm at him at dinner, he may have been completely different in that scene.
And I almost think you made him do it to himself, in that you made him bring up your mother and like that relationship, and for him it got his cogs whirring in that way.
Yeah,
because at the end of the day, Miriam knows she's just a little girl. There's not much she can do, but she can cry, she can lay on the charm, and she can appeal to emotional sides.
Yeah. And he's family too, so there's so much personal politics going on at the same time.
Little lady casts a large shadow, Susie.
Oof. That might have to be an episode title.
Oof.
Juicy fruits. All right. Well, you can find me pretty much anywhere on the internet at RPG Webby. This Twitch channel, Twitter, occasionally Reddit, that trash fire of a place. Otherwise, I am streaming a fair amount of this on Thursday nights, 9 p.m. UK time, 4 p.m. Eastern. And then on Sundays in the afternoon UK time, about 4 o'clock, we are playtesting the Spy game, which I'm publishing under the indie brand Black Cats Gaming. You've probably seen us in chat as well. That's James, the other half of this sordid affair, which we try and publish an RPG on our own. But the Spy game is a 5e powered modern game about spies, action, espionage, and adventure, and is being set up. So it's very familiar rules, obviously 5e. And you can go about with cool gadgets, gizmos, vehicles, cool new character classes, all brand new character classes, and have an awesome time, hopefully. We're going to be kickstarting that in the summer. Whit, my layout guy, who's doing the graphic design, is going to be running it at UK Games Expo in the Games on Demand section. So if the few of you in chat are going anywhere near UK Games Expo, check out Lloyd and the gang as they do the Games on Demand stuff in the Hilton, because it's always good fun, and Lloyd is an absolute GM phenom. And just they do really quick fire games. Whit's going to have the quick start he's been laying out with him, and he's going to be running that for people. The quick start will be up pretty soon. We're just getting into the final touches of that, and then we'll be going to press and actually doing a whole press release thing about announcing when it's all coming out and what's going on with it. So check it out. Keep your eyes peeled. You'll probably see some adverts at some point too, somewhere across the internet. Well, final thing to say is thank you very much to you guys who have been gaming with me. You have all been absolutely amazing sports and some incredible role players. I'm having an amazing time. This is my lift to my slight disappointment with Season 8's finale, but I'm all good. It is what it is, man. And thank you all to chat for such awesome reactions and such great interaction. Check me out next week when I do all the house actions and stuff, and then come back in 2 weeks' time and see just where this is going. Farewell, everyone.